We did test it before. So how's everybody doing? Good? Welcome, welcome. I know a lot of familiar faces in the room. For some of you who don't know, my father is looking for an assisted living place, so don't attack me. I need all the help I can get, so I've met some tremendous, wonderful people. Better, maybe? Oh, good Lord. Hello, hello. You heard me earlier, right? People that were here early? Better? Better? Ah, there we go. How about that? And this one on? That's on. All right. Welcome, everybody. Well, I'll put the next slide up. You can kind of see some fun pictures. This is meant to be fun. Well, it's supposed to work. Meant to be fun and engaging. So if you guys got questions during this, it's going to be about a half hour or so. Hopefully I can give you some really good content for you to build your network and do better in business. My husband and I started our practice in 2009. We came from corporate America, and we wanted to bring all our expertise to the small business world. Most people love what they do, and they're really, really good at it. It's just that they don't know how to run a business or need a little bit of help. So we come from a great background, so we started our business. We have a ton of fun. I'm a Billy Joel fan. I'm from New York, so that's me going to see a concert. If you haven't seen him in concert in New York, he's great. I won an award recently with the LSIN Chamber. We did some stuff with the YMCA. We're very community-oriented, and if you're doing things for the community, it's just really great to build your network. The more I realized that I was trying to do less business, the more business I got, because I built relationships, and that's really what it's all about. We were in Vegas recently at Caesars, woohoo! For a coaching conference. We're amongst a mastermind group of 400 coaches around the globe. We like to golf, and those are some folks from Reston and Dulles Chambers, and this is us. We have a class that we put on every quarter in marketing intensive and strategy, and then my two little poochies. All right, so let's get started. As I say, the party started. All right, I got a question for you, and everyone should know the answer. So, what is highest quality, least expensive lead you can get in your business? Anyone? Really? Come on. Oh my God, thank God. I think he saw the presentation earlier. So it is. It truly, truly is. Like I said, the less I started looking for business, the more business I got because of those relationships that I built. 40% of business owners will tell you that they get 80% of their business from referrals. So it's really something to consider and to think about. When James and I started our business coaching practice, we started with a franchise. And it got us into our business, and it kind of gave us a framework. We've left since then and kind of built a different practice. However, they taught us a few ways to get business. People get business from online. They do it from email marketing. There's so many different ways to network. But referral business was one way that we learned. And we learned to practice. So, if you look at this, right, how many people do we know? When you get referrals to buy a car, family doctor, it's true. It's very, very true. So we are inundated with different ways to market and different ways to network and market our business. But truly, you are really more likely to buy from a friend. So anytime, again, I'm going through it with Dad, and just referrals, or even clothes. I'm getting referrals for everything. And how many people are always asking their friend, hey, where would you buy a car? Or what doctor do you use? Or any kind of service that you're looking for. So much more easy to just talk to someone that you know and trust, and then get a referral. So that's what we're here to talk about today. My coaching hat. So it is a bit of a system. How many people like to do one-to-ones? I know you all do. Come on, raise your hand. We're all in networking, right? I know this is probably not you, and it's happened to me once or twice. But you go to Starbucks, and you have a coffee with somebody, and you're doing your one-to-one. And then you leave Starbucks, and you go, that was a great cup of coffee. Nothing wrong with that, but what would be nice is to have, I know a few laughing in the room, why can't we make those meetings more productive? And there's easy ways to do it. So I have a system, and even if you follow like a piece of it, and I know we gave the handouts, and everything's on here, so don't look at it. But it's your cheat sheet to take home later. But I wanted you guys to have it. So even if you follow like a portion of this, you're going to be better off in your networking tomorrow and your referral networking. So it is a system. At sometimes it might be uncomfortable because it's not what we're used to doing when we have our networking meetings, right, when we're meeting people. And you're definitely not going to want to do what you're supposed to do, but you're going to have to practice. but it works. So just bear with me on it, and just kind of walk you through it. And you can certainly raise your hand, ask questions, or tell me where I'm right to emphasize, or tell me where I'm wrong. So the first one, and I advise doing this over a glass of wine at night, because it's going to be really easy to do. I mention wine a lot because I like wine, and I think it helps. I think it helps get your mind free-flowing. So what you want to first do is create your circle of influence. When people think circle of influence, I think we probably all immediately go to our business mind. Who do I know that I work with, right? But what you really need to think about are who in your family, because these are just a plethora of resources that you probably are not thinking about on a regular basis. So family, who are my friends? Like my brother. My brother works in the banking industry with small businesses. He'd be perfect for me to sit down and network with, right? But I don't really think about it because when we get together, we're going to talk about dad or having a beer or something like that. So it's really something that you should think about. Who is in your network? And that's what a circle is built around. So friends, of course. A lot of people probably are on soccer team, right? Families have kids, and they go to different school functions. So think about friends. Business associations, of course. I mean, you've got people that you definitely work with, but then there's also a plethora of people in the room here that you probably meet at different networking groups. So I would say that that's also association. And then definitely don't discount your church, your Rotary, all your community organizations. Those are definitely other organizations to look at. And then, of course, if you're in a hobby or sport, play golf, play tennis. I'm sure there's people in your circles as well that you know really well that could probably be in this circle. So definitely something to think about. And what you really want to do, I always suggest make a list of like 100 because you're really only going to make a list of 20. So make a big list of people that you know, like, and trust. And that's the key. It's one thing to know someone, but you got to like them. You're going to want to have to like and do business with them, and you want to be able to trust them. So it's really important that this list of 20, maybe like I said, you make a list of 50, because you really want to start thinking about who do I want to meet and who do I want to sit down with. And as a coach, I try to advise you set goals, but we all want to make sure that we set them a little bit higher so that when, as we reach them, it's important to accept the fact that you may not reach them. So what are we willing to reach? And I think if you really made a list of 20 people and you met with 5, it's a success. So as I said in the beginning, if you take a little bit of this, so ideally you want to make a list of 100 and meet with 20. But if you made a list of 20 and met with 5, you're a success. All right, so that's what I'm trying to get to here. So make your list. So everyone's got that as step 1. So now you got to prepare, and this is a big one. A lot of people don't know how to have conversations on who their ideal client is. So to be prepared to be in a meeting like this, to be prepared to sit down with somebody and have a conversation on referral networking, you really have to know who is your ideal client. So there's a little work that needs to be done, and I think it's important, and that's an exercise that's on one side of the paper, and I'm going to have an extra tool that I'm going to give you when I leave. But developing your ideal client, how many people have their ideal client outlined anywhere? Just a couple of hands? Raise your hands. It's okay. I think you have it in your head. I think we just need to put it on paper. So that's an exercise to do it. So some things to think about when you're thinking about your ideal client. First of all, this is a little thing. If I say to you, I want to meet someone that works with animals, right? In my mind, the left side is the right person. But if I'm not clear enough, the person on the other side of the conversation might be thinking something totally different. So that's just an example, which is why it's really important to get clarity on who your ideal. Who are you looking to meet and why? So as you create your profile, it's important to just get some of the demographics. So what I would do is I would think about what industry am I looking to work with, what the age range, male or female, and maybe the title. So these are just some things. As you look at your current client base, as you look at people who you like to work with, start jotting these down. Like, what are their demographics? Because then it's easier for you to convey who that ideal client is to someone because they may know them. So this is, like I said, this is really important. So you want to have bullets, male or female, type of sizes. I mean, like I said, getting real clarity on this is really, really important. When people talk about your ideal client profile or your avatar, this is so important when you're trying to grow your business, because the clearer you are in who you're looking for, the clearer you can communicate that to somebody else. And believe it or not, when you're out there and you start saying, I want to meet a woman in a red jacket, well, then a room gets full up with a woman in a red jacket. You start noticing these people more because it's clearer in your mind. I go to so many networking events and people say, I'll meet anybody who eats Italian food, and that just kills me. You know, because it's just something where you can get really clear on an Italian restaurant could say, I would really like to meet a family of 5 with, 2 kids, mother, father, and maybe an elder parent. So, that lives in a community and goes out twice a week. So the more clear you can get on your ideal client, and I think if you look at your current clients today, who you enjoy to work with, that's probably a really good start. So that sheet where you can kind of list it and start describing your avatar, your ideal client, is important. And I always like to add the added feature of, something fun, because that also sticks in somebody's mind. When I tell people, hey, I love to work with, someone who does this, this, and that, and I'll go through my avatar. But I also like someone who likes to play golf or drink wine. And people think of that. They go, okay, the next time they're in a networking meeting, right, they're going to meet Zibby, and they're going to go, wow, Zibby loves wine, and she loves to play golf. I need to introduce her to Angela. And, it's a good connection. So that's what this avatar little sheet is for you to take home. And if anyone wants this stuff electronically, I can certainly get it to you. At least it's something to start. We typically take, and I want to make sure I don't abuse time, a time where maybe we sit down and actually put some of this on paper. I'd love to do that if we have time. One of the other sheets that they weren't able to print out for you, but I want to send to you, which is really important, is not only just the demographics of your ideal profile, but their emotions. So what are some of the things that your client, your ideal prospect, feels? Like, what are some of their fears, their frustrations, goals and desires? So as I said before, I might be an ideal client for a few of you in the room. So a couple of examples. My father, 76, God bless him, diagnosed moderate dementia, maybe Alzheimer's. So he's living with me now, moving him up from Florida. Woohoo! It's a joy, right? Many of you know this. So what's my deal? So for me, it might be ideal. I've heard this before with some folks in the industry. I'm in my 40s for now, and a woman, right? Got a father, married, so usually it's the woman, maybe who takes care of the parent. So that's me. I mean, from a pain perspective, the only thing that's a pain is I got to take care of my dad. He's living with me now. I'm moving him up from Florida. So there's nothing bad about it, but it's a little inconvenient. So some of my pains are that, I've got to make him his breakfast, make sure he takes his pills. So some of that is I can't necessarily have him do the activities he wants to do. So that might be some of my pains or frustrations, and that's kind of what I'm experiencing now, right? But if you think about what that's me, maybe, and the fears and implications, this one, fears and frustration implications are, if I'm fearing those now, like a way I might be like, well, what if he falls? So now I'm thinking about, like, that's my fear. What if I don't get him into a right place? So these are the kind of conversations you should be having in your head as far as what your ideal client is going through and emotionally. Because as you're talking to somebody, I remember that a lot. You probably would remember that more about me than if I just said, hey, I'm looking for an assisted living place for my dad, right? But you understanding what my pains and frustrations are, or what my goal is, like my goal is to have him in the best place, in the perfect place, and the cheapest place, that, sorry, this is an expensive industry, tomorrow. And that all life will be good. So those are, again, I'll give you an example because I know the room a little bit, and I think that is something that you should think about. But this sheet didn't make it to the table, but I'm happy to send it out, and I don't know if you guys can send it out to everybody in the group, probably. Okay, good. So just an example for our ideal client. We are very focused now on coaching coaches. And then here's another frustration, like struggling in their business. That's a frustration. Needs clients, right? Doesn't have enough clients. That's a good pain. Looking to work less hours, again, the goal, something I'm working towards. Wants to earn over 100K, so money's in there. Again, another goal. Truly wants to help people, a desire. And interested in building a lifestyle dream. So that's why that other sheet that I send you with the emotions is really important to think about, because that's what we all buy. Ultimately, we buy on emotion. So think about that. So I don't know if I have time. If you guys want, I can take, if you want to take a couple minutes, are you into writing down and doing some of this, or do we want to move on? I'll take it from Jessica. What do you think? Put some of the stuff in your head. Put it on. I don't have any Jeopardy music, and you don't want me to sing. But why don't you just start writing some of this stuff down, and I'll put the sheet back up. And then you guys, I think this is the sheet you have. Just start writing some stuff down. And think, again, like I said, think about some of your ideal clients. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, they were on the seat, so people may have moved out. Yeah, so let's just take a couple minutes and do that. I'm making you work. You have a pen? That's okay. I have one. Poor guys. You didn't think I was going to. Do you guys work for the same company? All right, you write it down together. I got a pen. You are welcome. Any questions? Let me know. Any questions? Yeah. Dallas. We were sitting at I'm glad someone has it. But it's true, and I think the other, this one, pains and frustrations. I mean, that's so powerful. Absolutely. And you're seen as the expert, right? And then they want to do business with you. We know each other. I don't think so. Okay, I'll give my card. Oh, okay, I'll give you my card. Pure, good. Yes. Yes, I met Bonnie. I love her. People writing? People need pens? We're talking. You put it down on your phone. I know you are. I know you are. That's good. All right. We still have some people writing. All right. Was that a little helpful? All right. I see some people writing. Good. This is a good table right here. Yeah, this is my favorite table right here. They're all writing, and they got stuff. And they're not heckling me, so it's good. Can you guys hear me? All right. So I think that's important for you guys to have. And you want to make sure you have it on your sheet. So like I said, I know a few people were putting it in their phone. But as you identify this, as you're going through your daily life and work and talking to people, like I said, really, a lot of times I'm picking up the phone and I call a couple of my clients and I'm like, why'd you choose me? Or, talking to somebody specifically about why you like working with them, and just write that down. You'd be surprised, because that's it kind of attracts, like attracts like. So before the meeting, next step. So when you're going to set up your one-to-one, but it really is kind of one-to-one. Remember, we're in that prepared stage. So you've got your ideal client profile outlined. When you call someone, one of the things that the conversation you have to change in your head is like, so, Ange, I want to meet with you, and I want you to open up your Rolodex to me and tell me all the people that you know. No. Wrong conversation, right? So conversation needs to be like, so, Zibby, I am looking to grow my business. I think, did Zibby leave? She left. All right. I'm going to pick on her anyway. Yvonne, I'm looking to grow my business. Will you help me? Like, who's going to say no? Not many people are going to say no to looking to help. So, like I said, I should call my brother. Hey, Joe. James and I are growing our business, and we're trying to expand. Do you mind sitting down with me for a few minutes and just kind of having a chat? It's really, really important to say help, because people want to help other people. You're not looking for the Social Security number. You really are not looking for all the information out of their Rolodex. And people are very open to helping other people. Even if they can't, it's okay. It's just a conversation. So before the meeting, what you want to do is you want to talk to somebody and say, listen, I just want to brainstorm. I'm looking to grow my business, and I think you might know some people, so I just want to sit down and brainstorm with you. So brainstorming is another really innocent word. People don't fear that too much. I'm not going to call anyone. I just want to have a conversation with you. Because a lot of times people go, oh, you're looking to grow your business? Yeah, I know someone. And, you got to call Mary. No, no, no. Let's just meet. This is really just setting up the meeting. So if someone tries to give you someone over the phone, like early, we'll just meet, and I'll take their information at that time. And then one thing you want to do is make sure you have your client profile. I would just put it in like a PowerPoint, with bullets, or unless you want to like write it out. But the bullets seem to stick in people's heads, so that works really well. But you want to send them a copy a day or two before. They're not going to look at it until 2 minutes before the meeting. But you never know. They might look at it and start getting some of the brain cells rolling. So it's before the meeting, you want to make sure that you do that. So that's a preparation. You've got your list of 20 people that you're going to call. You're going to set up a meeting. You're going to do your ideal client profile. And then you're going to set up the meeting. Hey, let's go grab coffee. Literally 20 minutes, 30 minutes is all you need. You don't need an hour and a half. You don't need to do it over lunch. You can probably set up one meeting a day. Or you probably can, sit somewhere in an office and just do 5 in a day. But it's probably just good to set a goal of doing 1 or 2 referral meetings a week for the next month. You'd be surprised. So when you get your list of referrals at the meeting, again, it's really important. You sit down, and you got to clarify. This is not a one-to-one where you talk for 10 minutes and I talk for 10 minutes. Thank you, appreciate you coming to help me and have this conversation. I really want to make sure that we're focused on me getting some information from you and us having a dialogue. I am happy to do the same for you. So, let's make sure that we set up another meeting and then I can do the same for you because it really needs to go one way. And then you have your ideal client profile right next to you in the sheet, right? And you want to make sure that bullet by bullet, and you bring 2 copies so you have one for you, one for them, even if it's just like, again, a little cheat sheet. You don't want to make this so formal that it becomes like too systemized. You want to make it engaging, but I got to tell you, it's going to be more powerful for you to put a little systemization in some of these one-to-one meetings. And putting a little bit of strategy, a little bit of thought is just going to make those meetings more powerful. So, again, if you have your bullets, you're going to basically say, hey, who do you know who is a female consultant who's struggling? Maybe take a couple of bullets, depending upon how you write yours out. And by the way, you can have a couple of ideal clients. I have ideal clients for business owners, but then I also have it for partners, joint ventures. So I might be looking for accountants or business bankers, so I have a different profile for them. So you might have that. So it's just really important. It's like, again, Yvonne, who do you know who is a female consultant who's just starting her business? Or who do you know who is maybe has a senior family member that is moving or is leaving home, right? So again, when you think of your bullets, you want to start having the conversation, and you just go bullet by bullet. And then I always bring a big yellow piece of paper because it's yellow and everybody could see it, and you write it down. And you start writing names. So you start getting names. Again, I'm all about ideal. Ideal world is yes. We have 100 names, we meet with 20, and we get 20 names on our list. Reality is you might just get 10, and that's okay. You might get 5, that's still okay. Just having a conversation with someone, and you might have none. And if none is okay, it's 20, 30 minutes that you met with a friend, and at least you tried. Because I do highly recommend you doing this with somebody that you know well, maybe someone in this room that you're sitting next to, and practice it. I'm also happy to practice it with you. So you start getting kind of like this, someone's going through their head, and they're like, oh yeah, I know Jim from corporate, and he said I saw a thing on LinkedIn, and he might be someone. So you're starting to write these names down, but then what you want to do is you want to tell the person, hey, appreciate all these names, but who really are the top 5 people that you would recommend? Because they start getting possessive. They're like, oh, now I got to rate them, right? So now because you want to make sure they keep ownership, because this is all about them. You don't have social security numbers yet. You don't have phone numbers. You don't even have last names, right? All we do is have a list of people that are possible recommendations. So it's pretty innocent. So at that point, really, you're just saying, okay, we've got our list. So now the next step, getting the introduction, it's really all about them. So, you want to introduce me to Mike. This is great. How do you want to do this? And leave it up to them. Ideally, the best way to get an introduction, well, it's different for everybody. For me, I would rather somebody physically send an email, say, hey, here's have a write script down of why they want to do an introduction, and introduce me to the person. Other ways to do it are over the phone or maybe another cup of coffee, and that just takes extra time. So, but however you want to introduce me to the person. And they might say, hey, I got a Christmas party coming. next Friday, why don't you come and I'll introduce you there. Or, hey, come to my office, or I'll do a joint phone call. Whatever way they want to introduce you, let them choose. But when they do, I say, hey, listen, you think you could do, is that like by Friday or Monday? Again, you don't want to put too much emphasis on it, but you don't want to just say, yeah, just do the introduction. Thanks. You want to be like, okay, great. Do you think you could do that by, and then put a certain date? It's really important to put dates against these things. And if I don't have a sheet here, but it's really easy to do, but you should all have some sort of bio or fact sheet. Does everyone have that? Like on yourself. Just do a quick bio, because one thing that you want to also do is when you make it easy for people to do an introduction is that you tell them what you want them to tell you about. You don't want them to have to create it, because then they go, oh, I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing, and what is it? So it's really important to have like a fact sheet. So, if you could provide and this is something we created a while back, and it kind of has, but you might just want to create a quick paragraph on an introduction of yourself. So if you don't already have that, just do a quick bio on yourself so that you can give it to people. And remember, as you're having this conversation with this person across the table, you can just say, again, if this works for you to do the introduction, when is a good time for you to give me the name, and then set up a follow-up. And try to do it inside of a week, because you start doing it 2 weeks out, people just won't get it done. And the really, really important thing, as soon as you get that introduction, is that you actually call the person. So that's the next thing we'll get into. But if I set a time and say, Yvonne, do you mind if I call you next Friday and get that name for me? And you say, great. Make sure you call the person by Friday. Because again, it's all about you showing your commitment and you keeping some sort of control and system in place. That's okay. And that just shows that this is a serious thing for you, and that you are there to grow your business, and that's what you open this up with. So I think it's really important that you follow through on those steps too. So if you say you're going to call someone next Friday, or they say to you, I'll have it by Monday, it's just really important to just have that follow-up call. It's just professionalism as well. Sometimes, you call and they're like, hey, I didn't get it done. That's okay. How about next Friday? But again, just keep the ball rolling. So it's important to do that. And sometimes, sure, this happens as well. If the names are no longer on the list, that's okay too. Say, yeah, I thought about it, and John's really not an ideal client for you, or something's going on personally in his life. It's okay, great, take him off the list and move on. So again, if you make this fluid and really non-threatening, it's going to work really, really well. And like I said before, the prompt follow-up. If you get a lead from someone, this is anywhere, anytime, just call them, follow up, because that's just an ultimate level of professionalism for you. As just a business owner and as a person. So say, hey, yeah, I'm going to follow up, and then just call them immediately. So you guys all have the summary. No one's really been answering their questions, and I know we're kind of limited on time. But I'm happy to just kind of review it real quick and then take some questions, or maybe take some examples, because I'd love to hear from the room a little bit if I can. So first and foremost, making that list, bottle of wine, all right, glass of wine. Getting the list of people who you know, like, and trust. That ideal client profile, I can't tell you how valuable it is just overall. So it's good for your mindset, and it's good to share with other folks that are in your referral networking. When you're setting up your meeting and you're talking to somebody, you want to make sure you're asking for help. Hey, I'm looking to grow my business. Will you help me? 99% of people will say yes. And then as you're going through it, just getting that top list, 5 or 10. Ultimately, 20 is a big number. If you got 2, you'd be happy. Who would be happy with 2 really good referrals from a friend, right? I'd be happy with 1. Yeah, good. Hands go up. Absolutely. And then the introduction to the referrals. Very, very important. And like I said, I would rather have I'd rather have 20. I'd rather have 1 really good one than 20 bad ones. Follow up promptly. Very, very important. And like I just said, it's all about the quality versus the quantity. So, is there a question? Yeah, sure.
I would have to imagine that most people would have included somebody else who probably won't themselves as well.
Absolutely, yeah, typically.
So given that, should we do maybe one step for one person and then do the other, so that both people kind of getting something?
In the same meeting?
No, different meeting.
Oh.
But instead of working through this whole process for one person and then switching to the other, should we kind of go back and forth so that people kind of see
people kind of see. I'm not sure I understand the question. Am I being dense? Sorry.
Well, you described the process.
Yeah, so Jane and I are going to meet, and that's the process I'm taking with him. Okay.
But should you go through the whole thing, or should you simultaneously, like the next time, start on your side? You can meet 2 days later.
Oh, yeah, you can meet 2 days later. Yeah, absolutely, and go the other side. Absolutely. Yeah, because once you start getting into this part, you know, the introduction and the follow-up, yeah, you guys know that, right? There's calling back, and, you know, it took me a week and a half to get a hold of somebody. I mean, that happens all the time. So it can absolutely be simultaneously. And like I said, more than likely, hopefully, I mean, the strategy, guys, is to have more than, you know, one going at a time. If you're doing 2 referral meetings a week, that's all your goals. You know, well, Christmas, yeah, you could still do it. We got plenty of time. Set up a meeting today, and just set up a meeting today and practice it. And like I said, I'm happy to do it with anybody. So you come up, and I'm happy to do this with you. Like I said, it's a very structured. When I learned it, it's very structured, and when I practice it, make it your own. But if you do, honestly, one of the first, just like 3 couple of steps, you're really far along probably than you are today. You know, having that ideal client profile, your bio sheet, not only for the purposes of a person that you're giving it to, but even for yourself, and really having that, because a lot of this stuff is usually in our head and we don't share. Yeah, so we just a quick plug on if you guys ever need help. James and I do a lot of speaking. We get out there. We do a lot of planning sessions. We're running a 90-day planning event next Friday. If you want more information on it, I can share. We sit in a room and we plan out 2018. It's just a couple hours, and we look at your first 90 days of projects. Like Jessica said in the intro, you know, we're all about getting clients getting quickly. So we're doing an event, and then you can bring your partner or employee for free. So we're doing that next Friday if you're interested. And if you're interested in just kind of being on our mailing list and learning more about the trainings that we do a bunch of webinars. A lot of our information really is all about education. So it's all about strategic, sales, marketing, focus, and strategy. So if you want to be on our mailing list, I'll leave that up there too. Just give a quick text to ImpactBiz to 22828, and you'll be prompted to give us your email list. So any other questions? Did you guys like this? Was this all right? Yeah? Are you going to use all of it or some of it? Who wants, has anyone ever done anything like this? I know I've a little bit. Anyone want to talk 2 seconds on it? Come on. I think we have some time. Jessica, you got a second? Yeah? I mean, so you don't want to. All right, good example. I do it all the time, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard to sit across someone and say, help me, and then give me names, you know. Alon?
I do it all the time. I think it works really, really well.
Do you do it structured?
I do.
Good.
I do it pretty structured, but one of the things that I learned along the way is that you never tell people about the thing that you just did where you helped somebody out of a jam and it was a really bad, not ideal client. So, for
Example,
for
yeah.
us, going into a skilled nursing facility and talking about, oh my gosh, we just did this emergency admit and
Oh, gosh.
had psychiatric problems or blah, 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 whatever the issue might have been, because that's the negative image that you put in people's minds.
Yeah.
That's what they can help you with. So just stay away from that little pitfall.
Good tidbit. Yep, good tidbit. Anybody else? Any other kind of networking? Any other ways to get networks? I mean, we talked about, you know, hobbies, people you work with. Any other kind of off-the-wall types of ways to network with folks, or people that you know, like, and trust? Any others? Nobody? Come on, you guys are in the interest network group, right? Oh, that's a good one. I've seen that too. I love that because I'm like, they'll go, Angela, it's good to see you. I'm like, hey, Sue. Sorry, did you have something?
I just had a question for you. So you're talking about building this ideal client profile. Should you, I think you might have touched on it, like maybe having more than one, because, for example, we were talking earlier about how we target the, you know, the children of
Yes.
the elder adult.
Yep.
But we also would love to get in front of groups of seniors and talk to them directly, and also maybe other healthcare professionals that serve seniors. So should we have, like,
I would have two.
depending on who we meet with, we take that?
You can take both. I mean, it depends. If the person you're meeting with may have connections in both, I would take 2 profiles and just less bullets, but really targeted bullets. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because when I meet with people, like I said, usually it's for consultants, business owners, but also you never know who might know. Who knows an accountant? Hello. You know, small business accountant, right, is good for me. So, yeah, so I think I would bring a couple of profiles. Exactly. And again, it's really, like I said, even if you need to have a second meeting, you can. But if you know, like, and trust this person, this is someone you drink with, or, you know, it's someone, it's casual. It's not so formal, and you just, you know, we have to meet again. It really is, hey, listen, I'm trying to run my business, and I'm just going to take 20 minutes of your time, 30 minutes of your time to see if you can help me, just to brainstorm. People are just like automatically, phew, comes down, hope, maybe. And if you don't, if you can't, that's fine too. And remember, now I've seeded them. And then they go away, and they may have given you nothing. But then they walk away, and they're like a little billboard for you. That's why that little bio sheet, and even if it's not a bio sheet, and it's just like a little paragraph on, if you were to introduce your business or your company or you, with a little tidbit that you would, it's your elevator speech, right? Your 20-minute elevator speech. Kind of. Very much. So if that wasn't my sign to leave, I'm happy to take some more. I love the feedback. So like I said, I'd like to hear success stories or other things that people do. Yes. Sure. Oh, absolutely. Amen. Like I said, I don't think my brother knows what I do. Yeah, exactly. Then they know you really well. No, but I think it's true. Yeah. Yeah, when I was doing my top list of 20. Sorry, I just think that's funny. My list of 20, it was immediately, I was like, oh, let me go to LinkedIn, let me go. I was like, my brother, like my friends who, wow, my best friend from high school lives in Annapolis, and she's networking with all these people. She's an alumni, and her son has cystic fibrosis. And we're best friends, and we chatted, and I just couldn't believe the connection she was able to and just happy to do a casual connection. It wasn't this formal, Angela's a business coach, and she could help you grow your business. It was just like, hey, Anna's one of my best friends, and she helps businesses. She's really active in the community. She does good things. Would you just have a conversation with her? And then it's up to me. So you really want to make sure that the person understands it's not them that has to sell for you. I'm going to do all the selling, and it's just a conversation. So you really don't want me to sing, so I'm just going to stop. Yeah, I'm happy to do some more questions or anybody else? Yeah. Any other good stories? Okay. Well, like I said, guys, my card's up here. I'm happy to talk to anyone after. It's a pleasure to have. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.